Hey, what's up and welcome back, YouTube. We continue more MSQ playthrough today. We're about to get, I think, an inn here at the Crystariums. Let's go ahead and talk with the Crystal Exarch. Ah, there you are. I was just finalizing the matter of your accommodation. You'll have a private room here at the Pendants for the duration of your stay. Make sure you use it as you see fit. When you are ready to retire, the manager will show you to your lodgings. Pray rest and recuperate, and we shall reconvene in the ocular anon. Turn this down to my mixer. I believe that covers all of the practical concerns. Thank you for answering my call, MSQ. We are denied the comforting blanket of night, but may peaceful dreams attend you nonetheless. Pleasure to meet you, sir, and welcome to your new home at the Pendants. Your room is ready if you'd care to retire. You.
I know you. You're the warrior of light from the source.
You're back? Warrior of Darkness?
What? Did you just... You can hear me? Oh, gods, how long has it been? That was what I called myself in your world. The Warrior of Darkness. My real name is Ardbert. I used an alias in the source. A daft one, looking back.
Ardbert.
If you recall my tale, it was my comrades and I who caused the flood. We thought our home doomed. And so we listened to the Ascians. Let them guide us to the source and try to hasten their goddamned ardor. I remember when we fell, defeated by you and yours. I remember our audience with Minfilia, how she listened to our pleas and returned our souls to the first. The flood was poised to swallow Norvrandt, Minfilia and my friends. They surrendered what little they had left to hold it back. Just faded away, leaving me to bear witness. Tell me, do you know the year? How much time has passed since we caused the flood? Years. 100 long years. My hands find no purchase. My gestures catch no eye, and my pleas, be they whispered or screamed, reach not a single ear. I am a shade, cursed to do naught but drift. I feel as if I've been walking forever. I hardly noticed when my mind and body began to fray at the edges. Then bang! My senses were sharp again. I felt like a fish being reeled in, and before I knew it, I found myself in this room. Why is it that you can see me? What are you even doing here, come to that? You were summoned to save the first. A waste of time. This world is beyond saving, like those who try to save it. Muddled as my mind may be, I've not forgotten that. But if fate has brought me to you, the one person in this God's forsaken world who can see and hear me, then perhaps there is a reason I endured. If I can find out why I was left behind, then maybe I can bring this journey of mine to an end. Well, I'll be watching, Warrior of Light. But do me a favor. Be careful out there. This world has had its fill of heroes.
Again, so many questions. It's
How did you find your new quarters? I trust you were able to rest.
I had a ghostly visitor.
I was not aware the room was haunted, and you were rather tired. Well, should you receive another visitation, be sure to let me know. Now, let us return to the subject of the Scion's whereabouts. This map shows the lands of Norvrandt, the only area to be spared the flood of light. The Crystarium is here, in the region known as Lakeland. To the north is the fairy kingdom of Il-Meg. That is where you'll find Urianger. To the east lies the once prosperous civilization of Rak-Tika. Your Stola is stationed there, in the heart of the forest. Alas,
Twins.
neither location can be reached without considerable difficulty. As such, I would suggest you first seek out one of the twins, each of whom is stationed but a short flight from the Crystarium.
Oh,
Alphino is on Calusia, an island off the western shore. It is home to a city called Yulmu, where the rich and privileged while away their days in idleness. For his part in further problems, Alphino journeyed there to meet with the citizenry and forge alliances. From what I hear, he has since kept himself busy gathering information around the main settlement. Alize, meanwhile, traveled south to the arid wastes of Armareng. They lie upon the very edge of the inhabitable world, where the flood of light was halted. Those who dwell there live in constant fear of attack by the Sin-Eaters. In contrast to her brother, Alize felt that her energies would better be spent learning about the enemy she sells her services as a guard, both to hone her skills and gather information on our foe. So, will it be Calicia or Armoraine? It matters not which you choose to visit first. Simply inform me once you have made your decision, and I will see to it that you are provided with a suitable mount. Ah, but you must be wondering about Thancred. He has taken up with a new companion, and is presently engaged as a wandering hunter of sin eaters. Being ever on the move, his whereabouts are often difficult to ascertain, but I am certain your paths will cross.
So nothing's changed. Let's go ahead and open up that bad boy. Should have been paying attention. I don't even know where I got half of that stuff. Okay, so we're gonna roll the dice here. Alright, I did dice 2 and we got 1, so we're gonna go in search of Alphanode. You will visit Alphanode in Calusia then? Excellent. As I mentioned, your destination is an island off the west coast, so you will need a mount capable of making the journey. Here is a letter of introduction. Presented to Zem Genmai, the master of beasts at Temenos Rookery, and he will take care of you. When you see Alphanode, be sure to pass on my warmest regards. And I guess we'll grab Alice's as well. Ready to depart for Amarang, Alice will be overjoyed to see you safe. I know she was particularly concerned for your well-being. She, impressed upon me how regrettable the timing of her summoning was, repeatedly. I only hope that my part in sending you to her will garner me some measure of forgiveness. Here, this is a letter of introduction addressed to a man named Kassad, the master of a merchant caravan. There are few who know the ways of the desert as well as he does. Find him at the Amaro launch, and he will see that you reach your destination. I guess it's better if we just grab both now. We'll go see Alphanode first, though. So we're going to go to the Temenos Rookery. I believe I know where that's at. This one? Zem Genmai. Your face is unknown to me. What business have you at my rookery? Signed by the Exarch, no less. Yes, I can provide you with an Amaro for passage to Calusia. I will pick you out a friendly whelp. An Amaro, you say? That's right. Mounts like my gray friend over there are a common sight in these parts, but I gather you hail from further afield, more accustomed to chocobos, perchance. I hear there are a few places where they ride little else. Seeing as you are plainly unaccustomed to riding Amaro, I think it best I accompany you on this flight myself. Any Zune worthy of the name could do it, of course, but the Exarch sent you to me. Ensuring you arrive safely is my responsibility. Gather your things and meet me at the Amaro launch. One of the junior tamers will attend to you while I ready the mounts. I haven't attuned to it yet. Maybe the crystalline mean? It's above. We're up there. There's a third floor? There's a delivery move. Where is this? Oh. Oh my god, it's like a runway. That's so funny. Alright, I believe we've attuned ourselves now onto all of them. Oh, there's Cassard. So we won't do that yet. We're gonna go here. You want to fly in tomorrow to Kalusia? Well, I suppose if Master Jinmai is going with you. Wait here, please. The Master should be along with the Mount shortly. You can now travel to Kalusia. Speak with the aspiring Amaro Tamer to fly to the island. You can also use your Aether Compass to assist with locating currents in new regions.
The whistling breeze, mute. The pounding surf, frozen. Time itself takes a breath. At light's edge, all is perfectly still. The world captured in a painting, locked in a moment. Music, faint and fleeting, drifts coastward on the lifeless air. And in the distance, beyond the broken earth, a city beckons.
We are arrived. This is Cracked Shell Beach on the eastern coast of Kalusia. You should be safe here for the present. Compared to the mainland, sea-eater attacks are far less prevalent. The native beasts are not any more dangerous than elsewhere. It is the people you should be wary of. Spy you that city in the distance. That is Yulmore, the island's main settlement. It rivals the Crystarium in scale and was once an ally in our battle against the abominations. For years, the Yulmoran elite have fancied themselves the masters of what remains of our broken world. They have gone as far as to offer the leaders of other settlements their protection, if we bend the knee. But to say that their ideals are questionable would be putting it mildly. The Crystarium is one among whom many resist their heavy-handed authority, and while we are not at war, our relationship with Yulmore is strained at best. It may be wise to conceal your ties with the Exarch during your stay here, especially in the vicinity of the city. I am glad we understand each other. Now, the Exarch has instructed me to divulge a secret that should make finding your friend a good deal easier. Listen closely. If you head south along the coast, you will eventually come to a fisherman's shack. A friend of the Crystarium lives there, a man who goes by the name of Eibor. Eibor keeps an eye on everything that happens in Kalusia and will be able to point you in the right direction. Just hand him a sprig of thyme that will let him know you can be trusted. Here, this should be enough. Find your friend. I will stay here with the Amaro until you're ready to return. Hobgoblins. Molstash, Moltash, and Hobgoblins. So many. I just want to attune to the Aetherite first before we do anything. Alright, now let's go down to the beach. I see the fisherman's shack. Whiptails, hobgoblins, moltash. That sound. What you after? Fish? Crab? Think I've got an eel in a barrel somewhere if you've a taste for 'em. Ooh, I do love a bit of thyme. Chuck some in the pan and it's like a bloody festival of flavor. Now, what is it I can do for you? Can't say there's been any major upsets to report these past few weeks. Alphanor, eh? I know the one. Our young champion of the downtrodden. Yulmore's richer than all of Norvrandt put together, but it's a different story for them as live outside the city. Most spend every waking moment just trying to stay alive, which makes your friend's dedication to helping others stand out all the more. I can hazard a guess as to where he is now, get a message to him, but you'll need somewhere quiet to meet, away from prying eyes. Make for Stilltide. That's the fishing village just up the path there. You're looking for a run-down excuse for a tavern the locals call the Leaky Keel. Wait there, and I'll see that Alphana joins you. And I can just fast travel there. This is your first time in a tavern. It's customary to buy a drink if you mean to loiter. What will you be having? Some ale. Fine choice. And what do you be paying with? Gil. Well now, those are exotic. Where did you come by coins like that? I'm sorry, dear, I don't doubt they have value, but I don't have a touchstone to testify their purity, and I'm not about to go begging for one from the neighbors, so we'll just have to come to some other arrangement. Here's an idea. There's a common to the north where we grow our vegetables, but lately the pests have been eating more of them than we have. What do you say to a bit of extermination work? I want you to squash any vermin you find, then visit the caretaker and give him an earful for sleeping on the job. He'll be in the old silo next to the fence, snoring like as not. Do that for me and you can laze about here as long as you like. Man, it is so bright. I like the battle music though. Lighted crop. No response. Maybe you need to knock louder. No response. Perhaps the occupant is hard of hearing. Perhaps he's dead. You hear a faint squeaking from the room beyond. Time to burst in and save the day, brave adventurer. No one is home. And judging by the lack of furniture, they haven't been for some time. The gnawed scraps of vegetables on the floor suggest rats have taken up residence in their absence. Welcome back, dear. What did the good-for-nothing caretaker have to say for himself? None. Gone. Yeah, just left to join the rest of the hopefuls. In Gate Town, outside Yulmore? You don't have a clue what I'm talking about, do you? And there I was thinking you were another dreamer. Well, never mind all that. Take a seat wherever you like, dear. You've more than earned it. I'll even throw in another drink on the house.
And how is business today, Mistress Theva?
Oh, frenetic. Look, I have a new customer.
Tis good to see you, my friend. The barley seeds you wanted. They should produce a better harvest than the last.
What, just like that? Oh, Alfino, you really are a dear. Well, I'd best be tidying up some of those empty shacks before the pests move in. Keep an eye on the place while I'm out, eh?
It seems an age since last we spoke. Not since the prisoner exchange in Doma. And Yotsu. It has been even longer for me, of course, if you count the days I've spent here. The time has only added to the relief I feel seeing you safe and well.
You thought we'd lost you.
Alize said much the same thing. I don't think I've ever had such a scolding. But I believe an exchange of news is in order. Come, tell me of your arrival and all that came before. I see. Both the Exarch and Alize told me what they knew of events, but I had stubbornly clung on to the hope that all-out war might yet be avoidable. And poor Tataru. She must be sick with worry. We must endeavor to return as soon as we may. It would be nice to bring her good tidings for a change. But before we bid this world farewell, we must first ensure that it is not rejoined to the source. We must prevent the 8th Umbral calamity. Urianger's vision of the future has, I fear, every chance of coming true. By his description, the catalyst for the calamity was a formless and deadly weapon employed by the Garlean Empire.
The Black Rose?
Which can only mean one thing. Black Rose. Gaius was telling you the truth. When we were on the trail of the Ascians, we saw evidence that the gas was being manufactured once more. Gaius was adamant that the project had been scrapped. But so long as there are wars to be waged, there will always be those determined to win by any means. And thus simply destroying the existing stores of Black Rose would do little to alter fate's course. In that sense, our involuntary journey here to the First was something of a boon. Together with the Exarch, we've developed a theory as to how we believe the rejoining will be set in motion. I'm sure Urianger himself will cover the subject in more detail. But I can tell you the process requires that both worlds, the Source and the First, be facing an existential threat. One being Sin-Eaters, of course. They are a menace that I would dearly love to remove, and not just to avert a calamity. I may be a stranger to this world, but I will not stand idly by and let innocent people be slaughtered.
what brought me to the gates of Yulmore. Ignoring its pretensions as a kind of capital city to what remains of the world, it is nonetheless a center of power and authority. If any solutions are to be found, I believe our search should begin there. What say you, old friend? Hungry for another adventure? And so we take to the road once more.
Assuming you have no objections, let us make our way directly to the city outskirts. If time our arrival just right, you may be lucky enough to see why I have yet to set foot in Yulmore, despite my best efforts to do so. Come. From here, we must head west, and then cross a small bridge. Lucia seems peaceful, does it not? Almost familiar? I had a similar impression of the Crystarium. Even in this distant world, people are much the same. To think whatever calamity struck the source, a reflection such as this one, with all its culture and history, was being erased from existence. Now, get away from me! There. Quickly, someone's in trouble. Oh, thank the fates. Look out! Gonna help this person defeat theirs as well. Hell yeah. What? Thank you, young sir. There you are. In my haste, I lost my bearings, but I see you have the situation well in hand. Fine work. Are you all right, madam? Just a few bruises from where I fell. Nothing compared to what was in store for me before this brave soul came to my rescue. Honestly thought I was done for. My feet are not so swift as they once were, and I knew there was no one left to run hear me scream. Not that I let that stop me. I should probably leave my old house behind and queue up outside Yulmore with the rest of them. Doubt those fancy lords and ladies would welcome an old crone like me. Still, even a shack near the gate has to be safer than staying here. One would hope. Either way, I suggest you avoid wandering alone, lest you make the Sin Eater's task any easier. Task? Thank you again. You saved my life. Now I'm sure a strapping lad like you has little to fear, but I wouldn't linger long in this place. There's naught to be had here but cobwebs and memories. She's a sweet old lady. Just as the lady says, many in these parts have been abandoned their homes to live in Yulmor's shadow. Should the sea needers descend upon this region, there are precious few with the strength to fight them off. Speaking of which, what have you been told of these monsters? A brief history, then. It was not long after the flood swallowed the better part of the world that the Sin Eaters first appeared, some beastly, some beauteous. Yet regardless of their form, all seem incapable of speech, and all are driven by the same insatiable appetite for mortal aether. They are predators, and we are their prey. Calusia suffers from far fewer attacks than most regions, but even so, the list of the Sin Eaters' victims grows longer by the day. Tragedy without end. Still, we have won a small victory this time at least. Now, shall we press on? We need to return to where the road forks and follow the path leads west.
That gate up ahead is known as the Open Arms, and Yulmor itself lies beyond. This, meanwhile, is the aptly named Gate Town, the dwelling place of the many desperate souls who hope to be chosen to live in the city proper.
I thought I recognized you. Brought a new friend, eh? I'll bet you got a trick or two up your sleeve. Maybe even 3. Care to show me?
He's not here to compete. Leave him be.
What? I was only making conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please! Greetings to our hopeful petitioners, one and all. Yulmor extends its warmest regards. Let it be known that a lady of distinction wishes to dine on fish divine. We seek a master culinarian who can guarantee seafood perfection. Dazzle the matron with your delicious dishes, and life in the city will be yours to enjoy, even on days when fish is not on the menu. Who among you will answer the call? Name yourself or another. We may not at all. What about that game?
Do you recall how I said Yulmor was a center of power and authority? Well, that is not the only reason for its fame. It is also known as the City of Final Pleasures. The noble and the wealthy who survived the flood gathered here to live out the rest of their days in decadent abandon. poor man could sooner pass through the Iron Needle than Yulmore's gates. The only way the common folk can enter this perverted paradise is if they fulfill the whim of one of the privileged, and so they are picked over like market produce.
What a catch! We'll not be throwing this one back. Having seen your all too obvious charms, we welcome you with open arms. Come, join us in the city of splendor and live out your life in an ecstasy of endeavor. Oh, just look at those expectant faces. What could you possibly be waiting for? Well, well, what have we here? An extra share of meal to celebrate our newest resident! For you. Enjoy!
Thank goodness.
Meal is a foodstuff which Yulmore routinely doles out to the people of Gatetown, and apparently a staple for its citizens as well. Many here rely on it to survive in these times of scarcity. Yet the whole arrangement just seems... well, let's just say it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Now you understand why my attempts to enter the city have thus far come to naught. The dubious privilege of residency must be won via a contest with ever-changing rules. They say this policy has been in place for the past 2 decades, ever since Yulmore's current ruler came into power. Yet from what I have seen, it does more harm than good. Not only does it distract people from our shared struggle against the Sin Eaters, it robs them of their self-sufficiency. I've tried to propose ways they could improve their lot, but my words invariably fall on deaf ears. The attitude is so entrenched now, I worry that, well, mayhap you should take a turn around Gatetown and judge the situation for yourself. Let's go this way first. The outstretch. Still here, are you? Can't blame you for wanting a slice of Yulmore's pie. If you ask me, you should ditch that sour-faced brat and make a home for yourself here. Gatetown's not much to look at, aye, but at least it's safe, and the meal is the best thing I've ever tasted. A large part bubbles over the flame. Pale chunks, meal, you realize, float in the otherwise plain broth. Hey, we don't judge. What you can cook with what you got is what you can get. It's what you got. Just look at it. Can you imagine a more beautiful city? Every day I dream of the life that awaits me in the inside those walls. Or will they ever pick me? You've seen what Gatetown has to offer. These people can no longer fend for themselves. They've become dependent on handouts of meal and believe Yulmore is the answer to all their woes. Yet no matter how I frame my encouragement, they seem unwilling, nay, unable, to conceive any other way of life. Disapprove of Yulmore. It is difficult to make a final judgment without first seeing the city's inner workings. Mayhap it is the certainty which always makes me feel so ill at ease here. Not that it matters. However unjust the system seems to me, if these people claim to be content with their lot, it is hardly my place to criticize their choice. But take that elderly lady you rescued. Does it not seem that those who have chosen to forego Yulmore's lagars are doomed to suffer for their independence? In the end, they are all forced to seek refuge in Gatetown, and so hamlets and fields across the island are left empty and unattended, hastening the region's descent into ruin. Nay, I am not convinced that Yulmore's generosity truly serves the best interests of Clusia's people. I am not so naive as to think there is some miraculous solution to all of this, yet I cannot help but frown at the sight of hard-working villagers struggling to survive, even as the chosen few rejoice at being plucked from the poverty by the hand of Capricus Noble. There has to be a better way. I will not know for sure, however, until I have taken those long-delayed steps through Yulmore's gates. It is fortunate that you arrived when you did, MSQ. I've been working on a scheme to insinuate myself into the city, and if all goes to plan, it should come to fruition. There is a beast tribe who makes its home in the sea surrounding the island. The Ondo, they are called, though you and I know them as Sahagin. For the most part, they keep to themselves in their ocean grottos and rarely have dealings with land dwellers. But as Tataru took such great pains to impress upon me during our stay in Kugane, business favors the bold, and so I reached out to them. I duly discovered that the Ondo are inordinately fond of land-grown produce, fresh fruits in particular, and when I offered to procure such goods for them, they promised to pay me in pearls. An attractive business venture for any prospective investor, would you not agree? Surely even the most jaded Yulmorian lord would have time for a merchant who can make pearls from plums and pumpkins. Yes, I've come a long way since my days of buying samurai swords without first negotiating a price. My appointment with the Ondo is due to take place in a few hours. I just need to collect the produce and meet them on the shore. Might you help me make the exchange? Excellent. I should be glad of your company. First things first, then. We must pay a visit to Moshe Moore, my supplier in right. Come, it is just to the northwest of here. You talk too loudly. You speak in the open. Your plans. You are a fool. Is there something I can do for you, friend? Good day to you, Moshe Moa. This is my associate MSQ. We are here to collect the produce I purchased. Eh? I loaded your lackey up with the goods not long ago. My lackey? I know of no such person. Mr. Lad, short blue hair, no? He said he'd come on your behalf, and since he seemed to know all the details, I just assumed. Confound it. Someone must have eavesdropped on our conversation. If this charlatan was not here long ago, he cannot have gone far. We should split up and search the area. You find a vantage point on the south side of the town, and I shall take the west. Or maybe don't talk so loud out in the open. I don't know. Just spitballing here. All the way out here, surely? My. Search the surrounding for a male mistle with blue short hair. Ah, Mikotes are mistles. They've got Humes, elves. I forgot the rose. Ran, I think, are the Gagent or something. MSQ, any sign of him? You've a keen eye. Let us move in before he makes good his escape.
There you are. The thief who claims the harvest on my behalf. Hand it over.
Well, forgive me. I have to get into the city. I have no family and all my friends have already been chosen. No one here gives a damn about me. Look, when the meal gets handed out, I'm lucky if I get a smell of it. No matter what I do, they won't call out my name. I'm so tired, I'm so bloody hungry. I thought maybe I could steal your idea, get in that way.
What is your name?
Kai Shear.
Tell me then, Kai Shear, must it be Yulmore or nothing? What of the Crystarium? They may not offer charity, but you would be fairly compensated for any work you did.
No, it has to be Yulmore. That's where all my friends are. We made a promise that we'd live together in paradise.
I was to make my deal with the Ondo at the Clave. Listen carefully, and I shall tell you my plans for the business, and how best to arouse the Yulmorans' interest.
You'll give me your place? Just like that?
I'm giving you a chance, nothing more. What comes of it is entirely up to you.
I understand. Oh, thank you, thank you!
This was but one path. There will be others. But for young Kai Shear, it was the difference between life and death. I do not regret my decision, yet I will admit that a part of me wonders if it was for the best. We strive to bring swift salvation to this world, that countless lives might be saved, not least your own. Even if it came at the cost of one man, should I have forged on regardless?
That's not who you are.
I suppose not. Were Estinian here, he would most likely scoff at my soft-heartedness.
Same old Alfino, ever the slave to sentiment.
That was a pretty good impression.
We were kind words nonetheless. Let us see to it that both these stories have a happy ending. Shall we return to Rite then? can't be sure, but I think someone's in trouble. Come on, they may need our help.
Well, we'll have to see what's going on next time, as that's actually going to do it for this block. Ooh, but the plot thickens. It is nice, I will say real quick, because in Heaven's Ward and in Stormblood, we're dealing with, you know, we're dealing with, I just had it on the tip of my tongue. Like freeing a people on their land, and like fighting for basically to get their homeland back. Is this the right spot? Whereas here, this is it's just a completely new story, new area. You're going to new place, like everything is new. There's no familiar areas. No, you know, you're not just traveling across the same old places in Eorzea, Limsa to Olda to Gridania and everywhere in between. You've got all these new locales and stuff, and then you've got, it's just all new. Like, you've got new names for everybody. Like, they're elves, they're not Elizans, they're Humes, they're not Hures, they're Drawn, they're not Zayla or anything like that. And then just the whole thing of perpetual life. It's so unique. It's so unique. And so it's been really refreshing, I gotta say. But we'll continue on the next one. Like the video if you've enjoyed yourself in my playthrough as I go through Half Blind, as I've gone through this before, but I never really took the time, slowed down, stopped and smelled the roses. So most of this is new to me. And subscribe if you want to see more. We definitely have a ton more. And we'll see you in the next one.